We're not now. Okay, cool. Grandpa, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, hit us with it.
You gonna say hi to the people, Joshua?
Huh?
Welcome.
What?
You gonna say hi to the people? Welcome.
No, I'm. Grandpa said he got something to say, so I'm just moving on.
Oh, no, I was going to say that before we came online, but y'all want to hear it online, eh?
Yes, sir.
We online
Okay.
now.
Well, let's do our little drink,
Grandpa,
little
like,
beer in there.
Grandpa said keep things right and in order. Okay, so Grandpa, what beer you got today?
I think you're familiar with it, but it's a good beer, though.
Uh-oh.
Remember Power of Love?
Power of Love. What is that?
What?
What you mean? What is that? You the one got it. When remember the day when
Oh yeah, but I completely forgot about that beer. You gotta show it in the camera on your laptop though, Grandpa.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's oh, I'm in the wrong place then.
You just leaning back. It's all right. Whatever you
Do your thing, man. You all right?
Yeah.
Grandpa in a different
I want you
dimension.
to see the beer.
I'm taking the show like this, like yeah.
Yeah.
See it.
It says Power of Love. You say?
Power of Love.
Okay.
Well, all right.
All right. Well, what's your pre-rating?
Now that's shorts.
Well, I'm gonna start with a 6 on this one because it was good the last time I drank some.
What? It was 6. I gotta sit up. I can't believe
All
I
right,
just
all
heard
right.
that.
Yeah.
What?
Well, give it a taste, Grandpa. Let us know.
Give it a taste.
Yeah. Mm.
Just as good as ever.
What's it taste like?
Now that's a good question because it tastes like it tastes good.
Like it tastes good.
That's the best I can do.
All right.
It tastes good. That's what it tastes like.
Uncle Pooh already pouring his glass. What you got there?
Yeah, Noon Whistle. We had this once before. Hot Prism Blue Indian Pale Ale 7.3.
Okay.
Mosaic Hops. This is a bit citrusy.
Does it taste like it tastes good? Is that the?
You know what? It tastes like it tastes good. That's
a good measuring stick. I just drink the same thing.
Now we were clearing out the refrigerator from previous shows past. So I have the Brickstone Hop Skip. We've had this one before, but today is 9. So this one is 7.75. It's a double IPA. Here made in Bourbonnais. So Pooh, should we tell Pops about his beer? Huh? He got his shorts.
Oh.
Power of Love.
I missed that.
I didn't.
What's up with shorts?
Shorts is a racist ass brewing company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we
shorts, not shorts.
You sure that wasn't shorts? Or was that Bell?
No, Bell's is it? Oh no, Founders. One of them two.
It was Founders.
The one with the fish on the bottle.
No,
It's Founders though.
It's Founders.
It's Founders. Y'all sure?
I haven't heard anything about shorts.
Is that what you're drinking?
Oh no, sir. I'm drinking Hop Skip. Okay. I'm drinking Hop Skip by Brickstone. Well, all right. Well, thanks for saving me, Baker. You know I'm about to go on the
Chris thought it was your beer, your brewing company, but it's not. It's
not. It is Founders. Okay, it is Founders. All right. I had to think on it. You know.
Now, Shorts historically doesn't make terrific beer, though.
They've had. But that's why Pops loves it.
Yeah. Hey, you know, Grandpa. If he that's those ways. Oh, yeah, y'all didn't get rankings for y'all beer. You didn't say what the.
Oh, I'm a 6'5".
6'5". Jumped up with me. I could have went up a notch because I know I got something equal to yours.
Oh, okay.
I doubt it, but I'm gonna say I'll probably go 6'5" on this one. Wait a minute. Hold on.
So.
Tasted something in the back that was pretty. It tasted like it tastes good.
It tasted like it tastes good.
That might be 6.75.
Okay.
They go on up. What you got, nephew?
I'm gonna have to evaluate.
You feel well?
This has got to be at least a 6'5". You know, I'll start out with a 6. Make it 6'5".
Oh,
6.5? Wait a minute. So the ultimate question, is it on the same level as Bud Light Platinum?
uh-oh.
I think this got Bud Light Platinum beat.
Okay.
Show is over. Show is over.
What did I just hear?
Show
I mean,
over.
that must be like a 6.65 then, or 6.7.
Yeah, okay, 6.65. 6.5. I said 6.5, 6.56.
Okay.
Oh my God. That's where you get it from, man.
He said it is better than Bud Light Platinum, ladies and gentlemen.
I found it. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to
Great job, nephew. Great job.
I'm gonna go to the store and find some more of that for him. But
Wow,
I
that's
got this
huge.
thing. I do not recall ever drinking this. Forgive me if I have before. It's called Old Engine Oil Black Ale.
I don't
I
think
don't know
that
nothing about
sounds
that.
appealing at all.
What's that again?
I saw it's called Old Engine Oil Black Ale. I just saw a bottle of it at the store. I'm like,
Is that Brooklyn?
You did say black ale.
No, that's
right?
not Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
Brooklyn
It's gotta be good.
we'll see.
Just with the name black in there, make it good.
I give you that, Pops, but it does not sound appealing. But then again, when we first heard of Dogfish Head, we were like, "Who want a Dogfish Head?"
So it smells.
They make great beer.
It poured like it was a soda or a pop or something, but it's
Oh, you said soda. You said it right, nephew. Ooh,
that's a pop. But you know, I mean,
It's soda.
I didn't messed up. Now people gonna be mad at me. I don't know. It smelled bitter at first, but now I'm getting like a coffee smell to it.
Mm.
Let me see. I don't. Like I said, I put it as a 5 for pre-ranking because I don't really know where this is gonna go. That's not bad. That actually
Okay.
it tastes
Okay,
like,
what you
I'm
got there?
excited.
it tastes like a less bitter Guinness.
Well, you got my hopes up for that.
It's not bad though. Well, the thing is, I've had experience with black ale before, and some of them the taste is really strong. Like it tastes like it has a really forward bitter taste to me. This one isn't so bitter. It definitely tastes. It has a coffee taste to it. It has like a coffee like put a little cream in it or something. But it tastes the alcohol, but it's not strong. It reminds me of Guinness, but not as bitter. So I like it. You know this might. It's a 7.
A 7.
Just throwing these ratings around all willy nilly out
I'm
here.
going to disown you.
Pop's giving out a 5.56.
No.
Nah, he said 6.56.
6.656. That's what I'm saying.
He said no.
No.
You're like, don't downgrade my deliciousness.
Hey.
Grandpa he had to wash the taste of last week out of his mouth. All that wine I brought him.
Oh, nephew, you did Pop so wrong last week. Pops was not happy.
I was trying to expand the palate to see if we could
He said keep it restricted.
It's just me. I just for some reason I drink the Jack Daniels and everything, but I'm a little light on the winey stuff. A little weak.
Well, Pop, you like Johnny Walker too, so I'll tell you, you got those Great Depression taste buds. That's what it is. We just can't trust them. We can't trust them. We cannot trust them.
Great Depression taste buds. You know what? Speaking of that, Grandpa's a little light on what is it? Hog's Head cheese. I haven't seen that in the refrigerator in a while. Must be a shortage.
I can't find none. That's what's making me mad. Kroger used to sell it. You know, they haven't sold it in the whole year.
You know, there is something to that. There's a I shouldn't say it's a pig shortage, but I know in California because they haven't been there. I think whoever's watched this, correct me later if you can, but it's something to do with the fact that they can't quite keep the health code standards for the pigs at a certain level, so they had to scale back on pork production. So that might be affecting everybody.
They didn't slow down on no bacon or no pork chops.
You hope that's bacon.
Yeah, you know,
You gotta
the
hope
hog
it.
head itself, you know, I don't understand
Homeboy
that.
and said, "What's up?"
That's the brain of the whole hog. It ought to be pretty good.
Thompson at hog.
Yeah.
What up, Hotline Bling?
Yeah, he came in early today. He normally gets in the tail end of the show.
Right.
Let me see if we can come. We might be getting
If
him
my
back.
father would have been living, he would show you how to make some good hog head. I wasn't at the time interested in learning how to make it, but how to eat it, you know. But I saw the process. He take that hog head and grind it up, you know, and stuff, and throw the stuff in there. I should have been paying more close attention, you know.
Sure.
Okay.
Hog head cheese.
Well, you know what, Grandpa? Maybe we have to get a grinder or something. You can pass your memory down to.
Go to town. Go to town.
Well, nephew, we talked about the things you're supposed to learn from your family, so you got to go learn how to make some hog head cheese.
That I should have learned, you know. But we had it every year on New Year's. That was a must.
You know what? I might
That was
Google
a
it.
tradition passed down through the years from Georgia.
I might
And
have
maybe
to,
North Carolina, Georgia route. You know.
I might have to Google it and see if I can find a video of somebody who looks like they know what they're doing. I might do that. I might find a way to make you some hogshead cheese.
Y'all could make it together.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Right. Well,
that would be fun.
You know,
We need that as an episode.
Let's find a good recipe though, so we don't get like whatever that is, trench foot or whatever for messing with meat. That ain't quite made correctly.
What?
I don't know nothing about none of that.
Hey man, I just don't want no.
All we want is the hog head and ground up. We're gonna make our own taste, you know. A little spice here, a little spice there.
You know,
Whoa, you got me fired up. Huh?
That really serious about this hogshead cheese.
You see how my boy said he made some ground meat in a blender? What?
Who that?
Hotline Bling, man, he's got some knowledge he wants to transfer over here.
Good.
Who made it in a blender?
One of our loyal subscribers. One of your loyal subscribers. But
I don't know. Yeah, if you make it in a blender, that's gonna make it pretty fine, you know, finely ground. I don't think the head cheese supposed to be like that. I got to question that making it in a blender. Unless he got it on the lowest speed.
Remember over here talking about a 1913 recipe, and he's like, "Ain't no blenders. It's too fine. It's gotta be lumpy. You gotta."
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Just looking at the pictures of this hog head cheese.
Auntie really looking at that.
Oh,
yeah, because I'm looking at recipes.
Well, you know what? I don't want to derail it to the hog's head, even though I know Grandpa would love to talk about this endlessly. He said he was proud of somebody when you came in hot, Grandpa.
Oh, well, you want to get to the latest news?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I was talking about Secretary of Defense Austin.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke to the American people a few minutes ago. You didn't hear it though, did you?
No,
but I mean, he was so precise. I mean, you know, he made me proud to be an American.
What did he say?
I mean, he talked about our exit from what's the name of that? Afghanistan, you know. But he was talking about the people that were involved in it, you know, the sacrifice, not only Americans, but the Afghan people who sacrificed and they lost a lot too, you know.
What are you calling these
people? I mean, it was really good, I thought. I never heard a Secretary of Defense address the American public like that before, and I'm proud of that.
Okay, I probably have to go at nephew.
I gotta get it. I missed something there. I see the laugh. One more time.
So you gotta read the screen, Pops. Read the screen. Look at the bottom of the screen.
Like it's a dead man. Is that what he said at the beginning?
That was awesome.
I mean,
I had to
in the white is what he typed in. He said, so The question was, where do we just pull our troops from?
Uh-huh.
Where do we just pull our troops from?
Afghanistan, that's what I said?
Yeah. They silly about it. Hey, but I had to look up. Y'all silly. I had to look up the secretary. All right, it's a black guy, huh? Retired Army general.
Yeah, he's about 6'6" or 6'7". Very dominating.
I linked it, Joshua.
Huh?
Okay, one more time. Did I get that Afghanistan wrong or what?
Still, I mean, you could grab a week. But so wait, so you say you're proud that he addressed the country? Is that what it is?
They're proud to address the country. Yeah, I mean, he spoke to the American people about our exit from Afghanistan, And I thought that he did a heck of a job, explaining our 20 years over there, what was accomplished,
And what did he say we accomplished?
Now, that's a good question.
How you gonna be proud of something you don't even know what he's saying? We proud.
No, he had allies. We got allies over there, and he thanked the allies who participated in us maintaining, a little position there in Afghanistan. And he had
Boy, every time Grandpa says we got a drink.
Cheers. Drink up.
I gotta read.
Nah, you good, Pops. Keep going.
No, just keep going, Grandpa. You go.
Nah, but they do what?
I'm bringing a lot of laughter. I gotta see what I'm.
Pops, you do you. Do you. Don't you mind
What were you saying though?
Pay them no attention, Dad.
Huh?
Well, I'll say this though. When I saw the what was it, Monday when Biden made the announcement that we were pulling out our troops, I didn't think we were ever leaving. I didn't know they still considered that to be a war. I was like, they just infiltrated like they do everything else. They ain't going nowhere. I didn't feel like there was a fight for the last I don't know how many years. So for them to call it a war after 20 years, I didn't know there was still any fighting. I thought we were just over there.
Yeah, well, mostly the Afghanistan, that's what the general was saying. We played a behind the scenes operation because the fight was they didn't get credit for it, but the Afghan soldier, he was the one who was out there fighting. He was doing a good job, But then again, you have a lot of interferences from outside forces to make them look like they didn't do nothing, He said, but that ain't so, He said we were in the shadows, We helped out when we could, but they took the blunt of the battle,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe I just like the way he presented it to the American people. He stood up there, strong and tall, and say, "Hey, we left, but while we was there, we showed a little Americanism, as to the people over there. I don't know, but anyway, I enjoyed it."
That's good.
Yeah, I think you're an eternal optimist. And hey, you see optimism. I see same business as usual, right? Like, so if they were assisting the Afghan soldiers, when they pull out, what's going to happen? The Afghan soldiers are not about to hold that. So now the Taliban just takes over.
Now there was quite a bit of reason, as to my understanding, as to why the Afghan soldier refused to fight near the end. My understanding was they weren't getting paid, or so much corruption going on, and they fighting and they ain't getting paid. And they got families, So if they ain't getting paid with Americans there, then they ain't getting nothing when we leave. So somewhere along the pipeline, somebody was stealing the industrial military complex. They made a fortune over there, and they wanted us to stay on and fight on because we making millionaires over there, So I can understand what happened with the Afghan soldier when he out there fighting, making all kind of enemies, and they ain't getting paid for nothing, Don't make no sense.
What's wild is, to me, I'm thinking.
And then on top of that, then somebody brought in the part about the poppy seed, And the Taliban, I've heard that several times, that they refuse to grow the poppy seed, and they were almost ready to eliminate it completely. But somewhere along the line, you got some forces that protected the poppy seed for the heroin and while we over in this country with all this what do you call it? The drugs, the stuff is coming from Afghanistan when the Taliban was trying to stop exporting that stuff. I don't know, but for one thing, a lot of folks got rich over there. 20 years of making money off of equipment, military equipment and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Corruption galore. You can't stop that when you got a lot of American civilians over there in Afghanistan loading their pockets and getting rich,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the general, well, he went to general, the Secretary of Defense. He made me proud because he explained a lot of stuff without stepping on a whole lot of toes.
I'm just waiting for the next big conflict to happen because what is it? I read somewhere the America's only been out of a war 7 years in its total lifespan of being a country.
Dang! What?
So that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna speak on because I'm just it's like now I'm finally old enough. It's like, man, when you're young, you really gotta listen to the elders to be able to take action when you're younger. Because 20 years ago, when they went in, we should have been buying the defense contractor stocks. Them stocks, they didn't just went up over the 20 years. Like we just got to start. Just why not? Oh man, I should have been profiting from.
Wait, what was Dick Cheney?
Next war, I promise I'm gonna get in.
That's the American way. Get in there and buy you some stock on guns and planes and stuff. You stay rich.
They're doing it anyway, right?
On top of that, General Eisenhower said when he was president, the first thing he was saying when he was going to leave office was beware of the military-industrial complex that we were building. In other words, we were building armament and stuff, and the industry is proud. They want to build the stuff, and the Army want it, because they're getting the cut on the money that's being spent on defense. So it was a corrupted thing. So he was telling us, the president told us, beware of this. Well, what do you see after all these years? How many years was that now? 70 years, and what do we got? Building wars that don't mean nothing. Then nobody ever tell you why you were there, They, in fact, Afghanistan, they have there.
We know why they was there.
What's the war?
I said, if anybody know why we were there?
It's the war economy. Like once you start a war, it's like war for the sake of war. People's whole, like you said, it's the war economy. The war economy
is large. And on top of that, and not only a war economy, though, that economy was consumed a lot of people's lives from the drugs that were coming out of Afghanistan. Now, we got to remember that,
I don't know.
Somebody was getting rich and sending that stuff all over the world,
Sure. When Pooh was talking about we should have been investing in stocks, we should have been investing in dang on Halliburton. When that Cheney company that was getting all the doggone contracts.
Yeah.
When I saw that I saw that Vice movie, and they're talking about they're just driving trucks around and charging the federal government, the government money for this trucks being driven around. These trucks are just empty, and they're getting paid money for that. I was just like, man, I'm in the wrong side of the business, man. Like it doesn't. Like the American capitalist system does not pay to be a good person. Like if you can find a way to be the scummiest scumbag, you could quite mess around and be 100 millionaire, maybe billionaire, depending on how low you try to go.
Yeah, no, that's true. But also, let's don't sleep on why they were there. They were also over there controlling land so that they could run their gas pipelines through the country. That was a real big, that happened early, that happened fast. They seized it, they passed it, they ran it, and I bet your last dollar that they securing those areas. They not securing all of them. They probably got their dope fields and they got their passageways. Oh man, that dope ain't about
when the Afghanistan people drove the Russians out of there. And it was about those saying what you're talking about, the oil fields, the oil, the pipeline to get it out there to the ocean, It's always about the money,
But also the natural
gas. The Russian, then we come in there and we still want to export that stuff. You know.
But
Oh.
you know what? The hotline bling. Oh, go ahead, nephew.
I'll say hotline bring brought up a good point.
I'll say same thing.
About China being the next greatest threat. He was like, we pulled out because we got to get ready for China. I'm like, that's a warm body. You don't just you don't want to fool around with China unless you were absolutely certain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that
Not want smoke for China.
I don't think the beef about to happen is one, you don't want the smoke. I don't think, but two, the fight still about to happen in Africa. China already in Africa. America needs to pull out of there so that they can go put their claws in Africa. But that's what Barack Obama started. So he opened it up. He opened the relationship of being who he is because that's the next. It ain't the next move. Africa's always been the move. So that's always been at the forefront.
Africa's the final frontier, man. There's so much resources untapped.
It's the first and the last. And
first, last, every frontier. It's the full frontal tier, okay? But it's like, because you see China over there right now. Like I saw, like this was a couple years ago. On Discovery Channel, like they have, they have the gold rush shows. They have a show. They had a show where these two dudes went over to Africa to start the gold mine, and for like 2 or 3 seasons they tried it, and they kept like it wasn't the people who were really trying to like halt their advancement because they're just like, hey, you try to get money, we try to get money. As long as you pay us, we good. It was the Chinese who were illegally mining over there. So I think this show was maybe half a decade ago. This was on Discovery Channel, but they were illegally mining. Like they had video evidence of these people illegally mining in China, in Africa, and it's because like the government system, the infrastructure in some parts of Africa, some countries in Africa, not all, some countries in Africa is just you can kind of just roll up in there if you got the bread or if you got the manpower, and either you're gonna get no resistance or you're gonna get assisted to come in based on whose pockets you greasing.
You got to remember though.
Hold on, real quick, Pops. Speaking on that, real quick, Pops.
No, go ahead. That's okay. What I was going to say.
This is a really good.
What's that there?
This is a really good book called The Looting Machine, just showing how the world has been looting Africa. So they talk about the Chinese, but they talk about everybody. It's like really recent too, right? It's really interesting. Y'all in the Audible. You can grab the real book with The Looting Machine
right now. The Looting Machine, you say? The
Looting Machine, brother. It's going, man. You're gonna understand why I'm trying to tell you. We need to be going back to Africa. And we need to be purchasing land.
I'd like to comment on that. China has made some direct deals with countries over there in Africa. They bypass the stock market, the change where you go in there and you only get 12% of the stuff that you do. They bargain with China, but they get a better deal instead of going on the market, and making it a money thing. They get theirs off the top, so it's 2 countries. And I don't think the world stock market is too happy about this trade between China and Africa, where they bypass the international stock market.
Yeah, nobody's happy with anybody else having the jewel of the world, right? This is why Africans in the diaspora need to get involved in all of this so that we can take part.
You see this point?
Africa cut out the third party, the fourth, and the fifth party. They're doing direct things. So they can be exploited in that way, but not as much as when you got 4 or 5 people going to make some money off of something out of Africa.
You see what he just said, that Australia has taken a firm stance against China, and Australia goes to war with China that we probably.
Yeah, but I made the comment as if I made the comment as if you can say it. Australia not about to kick off no war. They not froggy like that. Come on, they get demolished out there. Come on, but he's right. If Australia were to get into something, it will pull America in.
Did you know that China has a bigger navy than we do?
Right.
I didn't say bigger. I didn't say bigger.
But what's beautiful about China is how they were on the bottom. They was outcast. Nobody was dealing with them, and they pulled themselves up. They bought the technology. They reverse engineered it. They learned it. They built better machines, contraptions, trains, cars than the people who brought it to the world, right? But they built that country
Well, you
up.
know,
They were also isolationists. They
after
insulated
after
themselves.
1970,
They depended on themselves.
when Nixon, this the greed of this country. 1970, when Nixon opened China up for trade and everything, the Americans went over there and killed their industry. They went over there, man, and built factories. They had 10,000 factories over in Africa, bringing the stuff back over here and taking the money and putting it in the Cayman Islands. Didn't pay no taxes on all that money they've been making. They've been concealing it.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, they just.
Don't nobody pay taxes but poor people.
Well, you remember Emma, what's her name, from New York City? The woman says she went to jail. Hemsley, wasn't it? And she went to jail for saying don't nobody pay taxes but poor people. And then they checked her record and come to find out she owed taxes. And then she went to jail. But that's the thing. That's what they all say. They got money. Don't nobody pay no taxes. President Trump said that.
I pay taxes.
I don't pay no taxes.
I ain't figured it out yet. I pay taxes.
Trump definitely said, "Hey, man, it's not my fault."
Well, you pay if you figure it out, you still go to jail because they're gonna get on you, man.
Well, at least you go to jail if they decide they want to turn on you. Because everybody ain't paying taxes, you know, and they done figured it out and they know how to play the game. So
you bring up a good point, Uncle Pooh, because I mean, think about it. There's a lot of gangsters and everything back in the day that the governor of certain cities knew was doing what, or certain public officials knew who was doing what and doing what where, and they're like, "Hey, man, and they get taken to prison for like jaywalking or something because they got their books tight, they got their money right, they're paying the right people, but they got a loophole here and there, they didn't quite cross the T or dot the I, they get caught for that, and they're in prison because of that, not because of murder or extortion or whatever. I mean, that's the game though. There's tons of people who don't pay taxes. We know that, but they get caught. If the government wants to get you, they will.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
That's the biggest.
But that ain't necessarily.
That's where they got Trump's taxes going through the.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily back in the day, right? That's not necessarily back in the day. That's always. That's still happening. Like the right palms have been greased for certain people, and certain things are allowed. But then when you go beyond the pale, or you go beyond the agreement, or you get a little too froggy, then you get slapped. Then they find you jaywalking. Then they find out that you making left turns with no blinker.
I absolutely agree with that.
China is real. I mean, it's a real threat. They're not playing. Everybody else playing games. China is not playing. Did you see? Excuse me, Pops. This is good. But China just decreed that nobody can play video games more than 3 hours a day in China now. They cut.
Wow.
They ain't trying because somebody was like, "How you gonna reinforce it?" I'm like, bro, they probably got a monitor on everything, man.
They have.
Yeah,
but
it's different.
Back in before World War II, in China was taking advantage of gunboat diplomacy, and Britain was bringing in drugs and things and the opium. After World War II, China got smart. They closed the Western society. They closed their society up till they got right. And when they opened it up to the rest of the world, they were right. And that was in 1970 when Nixon went over there. They said, "Okay, come on in now, but we ain't having that crap y'all been doing where you're gonna walk away with everything." So they're a powerful nation now. They got the intercontinental ballistic missiles. They got the atomic bomb. They got more ships than we got. Maybe not as big as ours, but they got more of them. They got 1.23 billion people. They can have an army, a standing army of 10 million people, think nothing about it. So somebody better watch themselves when they talking about jumping on China.
I mean, it's not even
nobody about to jump.
If we're talking about it's not even just China. We're talking about a large population. India is not far behind. They might actually be tied for China.
No, India's gonna be the second one. They done label us now to be number 3.
India's not a
in growth.
they just need to they just need, you know, a little more. You know, I don't want to offend anybody, but like, you know, that they need to have the infrastructure a little more solid.
Yeah, well,
That's all they need. They just need the
Exactly.
infrastructure a little more solid. And they
the
can run.
industrialization of the country isn't as far and advanced as China yet,
Yeah,
but it's on the
If
way,
you
just like
remember
us.
though, where it came from,
it's definitely on the way.
India was a colony of the British Empire. They didn't even get their independence till 1947. So that means
That just said he was
they
there.
new to the game. But
Yeah,
they
it's
growing in
they
population.
just got
Hey,
on
but
the
they
block. Yeah,
new kid on the block.
yeah.
1.2
Ghana
billion
didn't get
people.
on in 1957.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How line like if India gets the infrastructure together, they got the people, and they got it's just like how China they got people who are just hungry to like
Yeah, but
just work.
infrastructure is 100-year process, right? Like you don't just get your infrastructure together,
Hey,
right? Like
no, it's
it's
not
at
a hundred
least a
year problem. Hey,
it's at
China
least a
done it.
50 year.
Hey,
Huh?
China done it in 50 years.
Yeah. It's at least a 50-year project, right? And it's got to
50
be.
years.
I'm just saying, like you don't just not have your infrastructure together, then get it together, right? Like that's a process. But when you thinking long, when you thinking nation building, your place in the world and the future, 50 years is a it's a blink in the eye. Just an example, excuse me, not the Taliban, but the Taliban. uh, they spent 20 years. They waited 20 years. That 20 years was nothing. You know how long the people been fighting? They ain't worried about 20 years. That was zero. They just, next week, we just hold out a week. They gonna give it up. That was like a week. Them folks in this game, that wasn't nothing. That was just like, everybody, let's rest up for a little bit.
You know what's wild is like when they took over the presidential palace, it was surreal for me because you mean like our family that got people in the military, so we kind of understand what it looks like to see certain things in terms of war. So like we understand war propaganda in the sense that it's supposed to be the boogeyman. But when you saw the videos of them just in the weight room, just having fun and just enjoying themselves, I'm like, these are just people forget these are regular people, just like you and me. They got in there and they did what any regular person who never seen that stuff before or who wanted access. They're like, hey man, I'm chilling. They're taking pictures, just having fun. Just
What are you talking about, baby? What I missed?
so when
Go ahead.
we're talking about when the
Taliban.
Taliban got into the presidential
Taliban.
pact. Like this was a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
When this first popped off, they were showing videos of it. They're just going in like nothing normal, like just normal. Like they're going in the weight room just chilling. Like it was nothing new. And they're just like taking pictures like, oh, we in here, we doing this, that, third. Like it's this thing. People like we're fed this information like these people aren't humans, right? Like they aren't just people. And like once the conflict was over, they're just like, hey, we in the palace now, baby. We chilling. We're just living. And I'm just like, that's a completely different thing that was fed to the American people. If they made it seem like these people were just uncivilized or whatever, and that was never the case. They're just like, hey man, we believe these ideals are different from yours.
Which country was this, Josh?
Huh?
Which country were you talking about now? I didn't hear it. Which
The
country?
hold on, Grandpa. Let me make sure I find the right words for this. I believe it was the Afghanistan, the Afghanistan people.
Afghanistan?
Yes, as you said, these are your words. Afghanistan, the Afghani people. They were the Taliban who won I guess they won the war essentially for them. They took over. I mean, they're now the government. So I mean, like they won essentially, right? Is that it? Is this an L for the United States military or is this the W?
It's the thing though. When people got a reason to fight, except for money, that's an awesome enemy you got. When they got other reasons. When the French were in Vietnam as a colony, and the Vietnamese people wanted them out, they refused to go. They kicked them out at Dien Bien Phu, sent the French home with their thing between their legs. Then the Americans come in there with the same crap
this colonization or imperialism, whatever you want to call it, they removed the government in power because they didn't want no Americans in, you know, in Vietnam, and then they put in somebody favorable to them, and then we go in there with a 500,000 troops, you know. But the people that's fighting, they fighting for their country. It ain't for no make no money or this or that. You know, they got a reason to fight. So that's why come we had such a hard time in Vietnam, and you're gonna have it everywhere you go when their reason is different than yours. I guess our reason in Vietnam, ain't nobody explained it yet. They told me about it was a domino theory. We don't want to spread of communism. Then you got 2 or 3 million people losing their lives because you talking about you don't want to spread of communism. You don't demolish their land and burn up the crops and all that. And then you got Vietnam and the other surrounding countries, Cambodia, and it, because we talking about we don't want to spread of communism. What is communism? Communism ain't nothing but a bit of socialism, where the people get a fair shot at eating every day. So that's where we at now. There's always this thing about communists. They want to say Venezuela. They right now they want to eat too. You know, they talk about socialist government. The first thing they do is call them a communist, and we got to go in there and stop the spread of communism. They got to cut that crap off.
Somebody got Pops mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to always ask the same thing, like, what's the difference between communism and socialism? Because I'm a fan of socialism, but just,
well, the only thing I see from what I gather is communism supposed to be a world domination of one government, everybody a communist community. With socialism, you can have a government and be social to the people, but somebody want to label it to this world thing, a world government. That's where one thing I can see where people always want to label. Yeah, here in the United States, and they called when Paul Robeson and them was fighting for black people's civil rights. He didn't want to call him a communist. He went over over in Russia like everybody else. At one time, communism was a party in the United States. We had a communist party, a socialist party, a Democratic party. We had all those different parties. Then all of a sudden, they label everybody but the Democrat and Republican communists.
Yeah, so
communism has to do with ownership. Kind of the government owns property. So they're similar, but the government owns property. Under socialism, it's like socialism is like capitalism without being super cutthroat.
Yeah, right. They're giving socialism. But when I just looked up the definition for communism, it says a political theory derived by Karl Marx, advocating class war, and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs. That's what the hell we got now for the most part. Yeah. Except for the advocating war, class war, they just want to dominate.
Yeah.
But it's government or publicly owned the stuff. The government owns everything, right? And
that's what we got now. Pretty much. I'm sitting there like, this sounds like goddamn on America. Like it really does.
In that case, communism, China then is not a communist country, nor Russia. Because over in China, the government is in charge, but you can buy, they got some independent people. We got some billionaires coming out of China, and billionaires coming out of Russia. One time it was
I think the term
totally under communist control. You had people, the little guy was around there stealing.
I think what you're talking
it's a steal thing, you get the power, and all of a sudden you want more than everybody else.
What you just described, Grandpa, was like an oligarchy. So there's like a few heads of families or rich people who really run everything, and everything
that's
else
what it is.
Kind of trickles down.
Yeah, but they and you have some commercial enterprise in China. I mean, they're not operating under. China's not operating under black and white. Like y'all gonna define how we running things. But if a family grows and makes enough money and blah blah blah, they can take X percentage of the company for the public good or whatever. And I know any foreign entities that come to try to do business in China, well, at least the larger ones, I'll say that, they got to partner with the government. So like Tesla is over there doing work, but they got to partner with the Chinese government in order to, do business over here. Otherwise, they'd be like, well, don't do no business over here, fam.
I mean,
Like,
and
you
that
leave.
to me makes sense.
Another market, eh?
That to me makes sense.
people.
That to me makes sense because it's like, hey man, you come into our nation, you ain't gonna play those reindeer games with us. We want that tax money. Make sure that this money goes to our people.
And I know we gonna get it because we gonna be right in the money with you. We in the accounting department, buddy. $1 for you, $1 for me, $1 for taxes, buddy.
Yeah, but the more I keep looking at this communism definition, it reminds me of The Giver. That's what The Giver was. The book The Giver. Did you all read? Well, Fred, you remember The Giver?
I'm familiar with it.
You are? You make it seem like you didn't love it.
I
It's
didn't
like
read
one
the
of the
book.
best series ever.
I know what the clip notes of it are about. I never read the book.
One of the best series ever.
I bet Ashley read it.
Yes.
Damn, y'all made it seem like she can read.
No, it's a classic. It's just a classic.
The whole series is though, but just thinking about it, I see what you're saying now, Fred, with the government fully owning everything and everybody gets placed where they're supposed to be as opposed to what we so-called have. Gotcha. Sorry, I just wanted to
communism
connection.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. That's what the book reminds her of that communist.
Yeah.
Pops, did you ever read the book The Giver?
I didn't hear
Did you ever read the book The Giver?
No, I haven't.
Oh, goodness. Gonna have to get
it's that good, eh?
Taylor's together. It is that good. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pop.
No, I wouldn't go. But does it bring anything about South America?
Oh no, sir. It's a
fictitious.
book.
It's a fictitious book.
Yeah, it's a fiction book, but it's based in.
Anything in regards to what's going on in the fiction, you can be fiction, but you can take it from something that's happening.
No, sir. It's even like a fictitious city, country-ish type place.
That's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, no, they don't bring up anything with India or anywhere that we've ever heard of. They live in this place where they're basically living the houses. The government owns all the property. It tells everybody where to live, tells them what their jobs are, all of that stuff, how much they get paid. It basically controls everything that they're doing. But it's just so good at how everything comes together and is exposed. I'll just say that. But I think you'll like it though. We should send it to you because I think we might have a couple copies of it. But I love it. It's a good book. But I digress. I back up.
Because I forgot this last time. People who have been asking for replays of the show, I put the title of the show in here. But if you go to YouTube and just look for the Untitled Beer Ranking Show, we got our own channel. Subscribe, like the videos whenever share them. It's a good time. But this is a shameless plug because I forgot to mention it last time, or at least earlier in the show. But no, I mean it's but it is interesting. Like I said, I wonder how long before the next conflict happens, because it's just a matter of time.
So this is the thing. And when you just said that, it made me think. Pops talk about Pops' boy right now, Biden. Biden doesn't seem, and I know your uncle about to get me for this, but he doesn't seem like a war-loving type of person. I feel like he'll do it. I feel like he will, Nuck If You Buck is probably his ringtone on his phone. Like if you want it, he gonna meet you with it. But like
meet you with it.
He gonna meet you with it. I don't know, but I feel like he's not afraid to address a conflict, but I don't feel like he's going to necessarily throw us into a conflict that most people don't understand why we're there.
I think Biden has chosen he got some people around him that will make him successful. I mean, not just the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of State, but he got the people in agriculture. He got some picked people who he can go and talk to and get the real scoop on. It ain't one of them things where they all the Trump guy, and say what coming out of his mouth, what they want to say. There's some pretty independent people he picked. And I'm happy to see, them working as a unit instead of one man telling the other one, you do this or I'm firing you.
Yeah, I think and I say that just because I feel like Biden is just trying to do his term and get up out of there quietly. He's tired already.
I guess so.
What's going on the election night? He's still worn out from that running out on stage from that night. Biden just trying to get done.
Biden definitely just like, hey man, I'm about to be out the game. Let me get this president real quick.
Yes.
Y'all do what y'all want. But I mean, I'm telling you, man, he definitely ruined it for everybody else in the 70s. Like, people ain't gonna be voting for old people no more. Especially unless you're really looking spry. You can't be old running for president. Because Biden has looked crazy a few times. All right. He's definitely had some senior moments.
So what's the dude, the so-called the dude that ran for president years ago? They tried to make him the young hot when he be sitting there lifting weights in his campaign. What's his name? Paul Some. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That's what's gonna come out next. Frey, you know who I'm talking about.
I don't know, but Biden. Listen, first of all, Biden is a warmonger just like the rest of them.
Paul Ryan.
Just because he's not doing it in these years of his presidency don't mean that he ain't voted for all of these wars.
I told you were about to get right out when I said it.
All these years, that dude been in politics for 40 years. He's been involved in all of these wars and the wars in your streets, your neighborhood, your backyards, your prisons. He's been behind all of that. I just needed to say that because I couldn't let that pass. But over these 4 years, his presidency is a bridge to get the next Democrat in. So that's why he's folding down this war, taking down some of the talking points that the Republicans use. He's going to be pretty docile and doing different things, but he's just trying to pass it to Kamala.
But I'm just happy with the selection of the people he got behind him. There's nothing like Trump's, nothing at all. You got some people, man, with the Republic, they wouldn't even consider them, to be in each position they're in agriculture and etc. Transportation. He got some good people. Now he may still be that warmonger that you say he is, but he got some good people who kind of keep him in line. I think the difference between him and Trump is he does listen to some of his people. And Trump ain't never listened to none of his people. He don't care who it is.
He's
he got his map, and that's what he was going to follow right on through, right to the end.
I reject. He might be the warmonger that you say he is. I don't say nothing. 40 years in politics say what he is. He got his own record. He's shown who he is. I didn't say nothing. I'm just speaking what the facts say. I just wanted to make that point.
Let's
be clear.
No, nobody said you said that, didn't he?
I do want to say.
I didn't say nothing about what.
I'm just going to drink my water.
I said he got some good people. He selected some good people, and he can take some advice. That's my thing. But his record, as far as crime and all that, I won't even bring that up. But he put some good people who will listen and give him advice, and he listened to him. I'm just making a difference.
What is a good person?
The president and the former president. He got some good. Now they may not accomplish nothing, but he got some good people. At least they can talk to him.
What is a good person? Who is a good person by your definition?
How many of them you mean?
Who is a good person by your definition?
A good person? I mean, not as good as far as good in the heart is concerned. I'm talking about as far as the politics is. About the people that he selected are good people. As far as getting something accomplished.
If you're a politician, you have to have the good intentions for your constituents, right?
Yeah, but if you're a politician, and you talk to the president is one thing. But when you got a president don't listen to you, he already got his agenda, and he don't want to hear what nobody got to say because he gonna follow his mouth. That's the only thing I'm saying, that Biden picked some people that can talk to him. At least he'll listen, whether he do it or not. But at least he can get their advice on certain things.
That's a
I'm
low
thinking like
bar, Grandpa.
transportation with my man. What's his name from Indiana? Transportation man. Biden taking some of his advice, as far as internal structure of this country.
Well,
I'm
Grandpa,
looking now with big
that's a
things
low
coming
bar.
from the railroad. We're gonna have that fast going train. This
Grandpa,
is gonna be
that's a low bar. That's like saying you dating somebody and then like they don't take my advice, but they let me talk to them. That's not a great bar for how you want to rate somebody as a leader. Like
no, he's getting the money. I mean, he's already. If they ever get the money, he's already dedicated some money to transportation, so much money, and he's going to expect the Secretary of Transportation to go by with some of the things that he said. So the money gonna be there. The money gonna be there for all of them. What they get, it's gonna be divided. It ain't gonna be taken and start another war with. If we have to start another war, we got to borrow it anyway.
That we know of. I mean, Grandpa, this is everything you just said is conjecture. Like you're trying to pat a man on the back for just being like he can listen. Y'all, he can listen well.
I'm patting on the back, but listening.
That's his redeeming quality. Like the only thing I can say about this voting cycle after this happened that I can see as a positive, especially for our community. A lot of people my age who were yelling, "We got to get Trump out," are like, "I feel like I made a bad decision because ain't nothing changed for us." And I'm happy that people are realizing that you can't just vote down ballot something just because you think that something better is going to happen, as opposed to actually asking for something that you want. So I see a little bit of
wow. I'm accepting that as validation.
We have a
Because
president
my
for
exact stance
how long?
was that is silly.
President was March.
Trump
We got a president been in there for 3-4 months, and y'all want him to commit miracles or something? Get the man to teach 4 months time, and you want him to change this country to Trump, man? 4 years to mess it up.
He been there 8 months.
He been there 8 months.
Miracles. He's been there 8 months, but it's just. I mean, the reality of it is that they're not too different anyway. Trump is just a sociopath. That was the scary part of it.
I agree.
As far as what's going to be done for the people, they're the same. They're the same. Politicians.
Let's do that. Let's make that the final thought, because I'm getting pinged from my job. I gotta get off break lunch in a second. But Grandpa, give you a final thought first, because I feel like you got something to say, like deep.
No, I just got high hopes. Like Crystal said, I'm an eternal optimist.
Forever.
I didn't say things are going to be perfect, but things are going to be better. I believe it. I in the political arena, military arena, all the way around, things are going to be better. Final thoughts.
Well, Uncle Pooh Bear, shattered that reality real quick.
Yeah, go on, shatter it. He ready for it.
I mean, I just feel like Ballad of the Bullet, Malcolm X was right 60 years ago. I ain't even nothing else to say. It's just like, when we gonna listen? I mean, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, and calling other people insane. Like, I don't know, man. Something's got to give. So I'm encouraged to hear the young people saying like, hey, well, maybe we were duped just trying to get Trump out. Maybe it was a bigger opportunity here, man. It was a bigger opportunity. Here's another one. It's another chance. So we'll see. Listen to the Ballad of the Bullet if you want to know what I'm really talking about. He said it then. He could have said it yesterday. Damn sure could have spoken right before the election of President Biden. It was totally applicable. But, what do I know? I just study history.
Auntie, what's your final thought?
My husband is a whole mess. What did I do? I just study history.
I next to that show, man, my bow tie.
Uncle Pooh Bear said, "Eyes can read, y'all. I'm a smart man."
He's knowledge. My husband is
Eyes can listen to YouTube. I'm knowledge.
Oh, let's see. My final thought for the day. It was a lot discussed today. It was. I think, but what's on my brain now is just, I think the Hotline Bling nephew brought up some good things to consider because, like I said, I didn't even realize we were leaving Afghanistan. And so just the thought of it happening, which seemed to be so abruptly, it does make you sit back and be like, why? So what's coming up next? And the fact that I didn't even realize in the 7 years of, it's only been 7 years of life where we have not been beefing with somebody, it has to make you sit back and wonder. So I thank you all for giving me, planting that seed in my head to even think about that. So that's my final thought.
The final thought, I'm gonna give a shout out to Hotline Bling. Our show's at 2:00 Wednesday, dude. Be on time because you be adding real.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he all in.
It's great stuff, man. Just
come get some of this algae culture.
I'm gonna see if I can, especially with this phonetic spelling of things.
So what?
Phonetics?
You mean phonetic? You mean phonetic?
You know, I don't.
Was that phonetics? I need to.
You mean phonetic?
Phonetic. Well, you know what?
Phonetics. No, I need phonetics.
That's what Grandpa passed down to me. Phonetics. Phonetical language.
Hey, stand on it, nephew. Stand on it. You say it, stand on it.
You ain't gonna shame me with my phonetical.
That boy said phonetics. Your wife is gonna be so disappointed in you. Oh, she gonna be disappointed.
Oh my God, you was about to get an English lesson.
I was about to say you gonna have some vocabulary
words.
Vocabulary words.
And a spelling too. Let me text my niece now and tell her, say, baby, did you hear what you said? Phonetics.
Phonetics.
That's ebonic phonetics. Phonetics.
There we go. Phonetics. We'll see you guys next week. You know, maybe I'll have my mama come on. It's her birthday next week.
Hey.
Oh, and next week I have my second damn shot.
Oh, you can be double vax, Chris.
I will talk about the experiences of how I handled it versus how my husband handled it.
I'm out here setting personal best with my running. It made me a superstar.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys. See you next
All right,
week.
yeah.
Love y'all.
See ya.